Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to our channel Football Fantasy, and this is that time of the year जहाँ पे transfers topic gets more and more hotter, more and more aggressive, and players are signed. And it is that time of the year we discuss this transfer window. And welcome to the first episode of the Football Talk on Football Fantasy. And in fact, the name of the episode is the Transfer Talk. So this is the first episode of the Transfer Talk, and we are going to talk about the incomings, outgoings, the gossips, the rumors, players linked to the clubs, and this is going to be a wonderful show. A lot to talk about today, and more importantly, this is that time of the year where we don't get to watch football. It's all about reading social media and watching out for the players, watching out for the clubs, your clubs, the clubs that you want, your club that you want your players to get signed, and so many things happening in this 3 month period. The game or the football season starts, I think August, mid-August. Yeah, that's when it starts, and the 1.5 period, this exactly 2 months, I think 2 महीने का period है जहाँ पे we don't get to see any live action apart from those boring international matches. But yeah, ठीक है यार, football players को भी थोड़ा rest चाहिए, and what you do is the best is enjoy the exciting news, keep yourself updated with social media, and that's why we are exactly here to discuss about the football transfers. And the first episode of the Transfer Talk begins. I've got two guests with me who will be joining very soon. I think Don Prashant is already here. Let me add him to the stream quickly.
Hello,
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, my friend. How are you today?
Awesome. All good, all good, all good. And as you know,
Awesome.
this is the first episode of the Transfer Talk. And we're going to do every Monday episode. And I know, I can see from the smile on your face, you have read social media, you are active, not as a Manchester United fan, of course, but as a football fan, get to see a lot of transfer talk. So let me ask you, before we dig deep into the rumors and transfer window talks, what is your feeling about this transfer window? Is it going to be the best, better than the last one? As a neutral fan, not as a Manchester United fan.
I do think that a lot of the clubs are actually looking. They are in the rebuild phase. They are in a rebuilding phase, so a lot of them will be making some good and dashing and exciting signings. So specifically now with some new some new threats from the Saudi league coming in as well, things will
Yeah, yeah.
change. Maybe the market will be disrupted a lot more. I expect the market to get a little bit more inflated now, but that is something which is bound to happen. So,
Hmm.
as I have been pointing out in the past, that sooner or later the player pool or the concentration of the players has to expand, or the scope of the clubs has to expand, and that is what's going to happen. So it's exciting to see where this is gonna go.
And as I can see from your name, Desi Khabris Romano. So, what khabars do you have? Any khabars that you have for our viewers today?
Yeah, yeah. So I've been reading a lot of the social media, right, as you mentioned. So I have been coming across several rumors, uh, and of course, being a United fan, the most circulated rumor has been Mason Mount, which even before it began, I kind of felt that maybe Mason Mount is going to be the Frankie De Jong of this season. Who knows? But
Hmm.
thankfully, I also read an article today, or at least a headline, which stated that United are actually trying for Moises Caicedo because Chelsea haven't really responded well to United's bid, which is a good thing. So that is like the main news that I have read today, like fresh of the mind.
So, let me ask you this. Who would you prefer? Mason Mount or Moises Caicedo?
I feel Moises Caicedo. I have not been very excited to hear about the name of Mason Mount, although he's good, but he, I don't see how he will be very different uh, from maybe McTominay or Fred. I mean, yeah, he is a proper midfielder and all that, but still, I don't really think he will be much better. That's
You're
just
right.
my gut feeling. Hmm.
And if you look at Mason Mount's profile, you already got Ericsson and Fernandez, more of an attacking minded midfielder. You
Yeah,
need somebody who is more defensive minded. So that currently we only have Casemiro, and so we need
hmm.
someone else who can play in those number of games. I think Caicedo is the right one.
Yeah,
And I think Mount is good, and I wouldn't say that I would be disappointed if we sign Mount, but I don't think that's the kind of midfielder we need right now. Again, if Eric
true.
Tanag wants him, then I will back him definitely because he's the manager and he should have
He
the
knows
final
what
say in the
he
signing,
wants.
not us.
Yeah,
Yeah. So correct. So yeah,
sorry.
like I said, then Mason Mount, if Eric Tanag wants, then I'll back him. He's the manager and he's got to have the final say on the signing. So fans will demand, Messi, fans will demand Frankie De Jong, fans will demand a lot of players, but I think it's manager who should have the final say. And although I'm not in favor of that Mason Mount move, which I think will eventually happen, there will be a middle point in that negotiation. If that Mount is keen on this move, and Chelsea if Chelsea don't do this deal, they will end up losing Mason Mount next year for free because he's made up his mind. He's not going to sign a new contract with Chelsea. So it doesn't make any sense for Chelsea to let him go for free next year when they can get at least 50 million pounds. So my thoughts and although we're linked to Caicedo, who will cost us around 80 million, which I think is fair enough because Mason Mount is much older and he's only got 1 year left in his contract. The situation is completely different with Moises Caicedo. Caicedo has got around 3 to 4 years left on his contract and is quite younger prospect than Mason Mount. So
Mason
yeah,
Mount. Hmm.
yeah. So I think for as a fan you would want Moises Caicedo, but at the end of the day, it is going to be Mason Mount. So yeah, my thoughts are I know we can get linked to Caicedo, we can get linked to Declan Rice, but at the end of the day, it is going to Mason Mount. That is for sure.
So you think eventually Mason Mount will happen? I mean,
Yeah, it will. It will
I
happen. It will happen. And don't worry, it won't be very far. It's going to happen next 10 to 15 days. That is for sure.
okay. Okay. I feel that even if it does happen, I just doubt how successful of a signing it will be. But then again,
Mhm.
you never know. Maybe Ten Hag will get the best out of him. I don't
Yeah,
know how
yeah.
he will. I mean, because he's an attack-minded midfielder, as you mentioned, I don't know if he will actually add something new to the side, add a new dimension to the side, like Casemiro has done, right? So that is where we are lacking. I mean, if we wanted someone like that, I mean, maybe they could have just gone for N'Golo Kante. I mean, okay, he is injury prone and all, but at least he's a defensive midfielder. So we don't have a defensive midfielder apart from Casemiro. That is the same point that's gonna keep repeating because
Mhm.
uh, that is what we learned through the season, and if we still repeat the same mistake, God knows. So yeah,
Yeah. See, the thing about Kante is already 32 years of age. So I don't think it will be a good idea. Yeah, he's a brilliant midfielder. He's injury prone, but whenever he plays, he gives 100% and he can make a
yeah,
lot
of
of
course.
have a
I
good
just gave
impact.
a
The only thing is
hypothetical.
it's 32 years. Yeah,
Yeah, so it was only a hypothetical. That's what I said. I mean,
yeah.
he's off to Al-Ittihad anyway, so you know, we are not going to be able to sign him anyway.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, you know, as a United fan, you would want a lot of signings, one would have thought that, we may end up getting a lot of players. We may end up signing a lot of players now that we're going to get a Qatari rich owners are going to change, but that's not the case. We can talk about the takeover. It's been dragging on since a very long time, and the entire process is now shambolic and it's become disgusting and you know I'm short of like I
just
said
like
adjectives to
every
describe.
other negotiation that, just like
Yeah,
every other
yeah,
negotiation
exactly,
that we
exactly.
should have been involved.
This is what, and this is in fact this is worse than Wesley Schneider transfer saga. You know. I
Yeah,
hope you remember that famous Wesley Schneider transfer saga that we
yeah,
went
yeah,
through
yeah,
in for 2 years. So I
yeah.
think this is even worse than that. You go back and remember those transfer sagas: Wesley Schneider, Cesc Fabregas, Nicolas Gaitan, all those players getting linked to us year on year, and we never end up signing them. I think this is even worse than that. And the thing is that it's not going to be that easy, even if the deal gets through the line. It's not like a transfer. You sign, you enter, you finish, enter the negotiation, and we end up getting the new owners. No, the paperwork is a lot of things. A lot of बहुत सारे चीजें play में आएंगी. The legal aspects and the ownership rights. So बहुत कुछ है. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but now from what I see, I think it's not going to happen before the transfer window close.
End
So
of the
very
transfer
difficult.
window.
Yeah, it's going
Yeah,
to be very difficult. I think we're going to have a new owner's first transfer window will be the January transfer window. That's what I feel. But yeah, you never trust the Glazers. They even won't let the January transfer window come under the new owners. They will still be the owners. They'll drag on this process till they end up getting the maximum amount of money. That's what is the entire idea of the Glazers. So, moving on, I think we can talk about this day in, day out, and it's never going to end. But yeah, I'm going to add someone to the stream and then make an announcement about the new signing. So yes, Agrim Bhai is here,
Hi
and
everyone.
I
yes, Agrim
agree.
Bhai, how are you? How are you?
All good, all good. Huh?
I was I
What's
was
happening?
waiting for you. I was waiting for you. This is a
Yeah, I
transfer
just
talk
got
show.
caught up.
So
Hmm.
yes, and I thought that when I begin this transfer show, I'll announce the done deals. But this done deal, I needed your presence because
Hmm.
a huge signing has been made today for FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
Ilkay Gundogan signs for FC Barcelona. Fantastic
Yeah.
player, yes, 32 years of age, but he's still got at least 2 3 years in him of top football. And we just saw last season the kind of impact he had for Manchester City. You know,
Yeah.
brilliant
Yeah.
signing for Barcelona. A
Yeah.
short-term impact, but then yeah, it will be
Yeah.
a lot of. He'll bring a lot of goals. He'll bring a lot of assists. He'll bring the dynamics to the midfield, and it's an addition, to that wonderful midfield they have of De Jong, Gavi, and Pedri.
Yeah.
So Barcelona's midfield can be now classified as one of the top midfields in Europe,
Yeah,
and it's going to be fantastic watching Barcelona and Madrid battle each other with those fantastic midfield both these clubs have.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Madrid signed one of the top young
Jude
talents
Bellingham.
in the world, Jude Bellingham. So
Yeah.
yes, it's going to be brilliant. And Mshe says sorry, I have exams tomorrow. No problem, bro.
No problems,
Best
I'm
of luck.
sure.
Do
Best
well
of
in your
luck.
exams.
मन
Yeah.
लगा के पढ़ाई करना.
So our Khabris Romano says, "मन लगे पढ़ाई करना भाई." Yes, all the best for your exams, and we hope that you do well. So Agrim bhai, कैसा लग रहा है after the Ilkay Gundogan signing?
Well, I'm quite excited. Like I just saw like couple of like like those fan made trailers.
Hmm.
That what Gundogan is going to do for Barcelona.
Hmm.
हाँ,
So I was like quite like moved by like yeah, he's got that creativity skill within himself. That's a very good point. And secondly, that I want to address was this thing. What do you call what was it? Mm,
About
uh,
what? About a player transfer? What is it?
no, no, I think yeah, the transfer was like free, right? So so
Hmm.
we were like quite what do you call like we didn't have to pay like shell out like any money for him like but we are paying him like 5 million a year contract, yearly contract.
Is it?
Yes,
No.
five.
Okay. Good. Because I heard it's a lot more than that.
Yeah. No, we're not paying more than like 5 million.
Okay,
yeah.
which is cool.
So, agreeing. I mean, this is a really good signing, and as you mentioned, it's a free signing. Don't you think
Yeah.
Barca have been making quite a few, like quite a lot of free signings of late? Like it's like they've taken a leaf out of Juventus and Bayern Munich's book. They get
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
are just seeking
I
out
understand what your
whichever
point is.
players are
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
contract. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Because I think currently,
and
like, yeah. Yeah. Go on. Go
sorry,
on.
Agrim, if I may just continue. Uh, there were a few fans who I heard, I had been speaking with. They suggested that maybe what Barca will do is they'll do a bit of a Paulinho kind of a thing with him. They'll keep him for a season because his release clause is 340 million. Is that right?
No, 400
Yeah,
million.
400 million.
400
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they'll keep him one season, and next season maybe just send him off to Saudi somewhere
No, no, no. I don't think they are going to do
for
that.
a
No, I
yeah,
don't think
because
they're going
then
to do that.
if a club is willing to meet that clause, why not?
Yeah, I understand your point, but I don't think like for 32-year-old they will just maybe like pay like 200 million for that. No, I don't think so. I think maybe
Hmm.
like in wages they can afford, not in transfers.
Hmm.
I would say
Okay, all right.
that's what I think.
Well,
But
let's see.
I
But
think
he is a
yeah
good signing, and he has been. Sorry,
yeah. But I think like I don't know why Barcelona is not like
sorry, y'all are frozen.
I think there's some sort of disturbance. I think is it from your end? I don't know from my end.
No, no, it's from my end.
Your end, huh? Yeah, 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 yeah. That's fine. Are you able to hear me, Divya?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I
I
wanted
can
to
also
say was
hear you
like,
now.
so I was thinking like there are like quite a youngsters like that played the under 20 tournament at this World Cup. So they're like quite a good names like Fabrizio Diaz from Uruguay. Then they had like Federico Redondo. You guys maybe knowing Redondo, right? Redondo from Real
Yeah.
Madrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
I
his
know.
his
Redondo,
son is
number six,
yeah
yeah,
his son is
his
playing
son.
for Argentina, right? So he is that sort of
Right.
player, like that could have actually I don't know, like I don't want to say like a direct replacement for Busquets, but he's got like that similar kind of what you call traits.
Attributes.
Yeah, traits, attributes, exactly my point.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
so
all
you're
right.
like
So he was there at the
yeah.
World Cup.
Yeah, so he was like one of the players like that really impressed me. That Barcelona could actually. I mean, his release clauses. I mean, like maybe like 2 or 3 million, not more than that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. South American clubs nowadays they don't have very high release clauses for some reason.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
was thinking like Barcelona should actually focus on these guys, South American talents.
Yeah. Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I guess something has come up for the year, so his camera is off for the
yeah,
moment. But let's just continue the conversation
yeah.
in the meanwhile. So, I mean, Gundogan has been signed. What are the other transfers that you expect happening for Barcelona this transfer
The
window?
second signing that we are currently looking forward for is this guy. What's his name? Victor Roque from Atletico Paranaense from Brazil for 40
Okay,
million. Yeah, for 40 million
40
apparently.
million.
So yeah, so they're saying like Barcelona are unable to meet the financial demand. Some reports say that uh, like Barcelona will pay like in each year basis. That's how that they're planning to deal. And the other report, what they stated was like this thing was like they will let Victor Roque to stay in Atletico Paranaense and let Victor Roque to join the club in January.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. But okay, now that we have back, just coming back to your point about Fernando Redondo's son.
yeah.
What was his full name again?
Federico Redondo.
Federico Redondo. So, since his
Uh,
father played for Real Madrid, do you think he will still sign for Barcelona?
yeah. Why
Considering
can't
that
he?
background.
Yeah, why can't he? Like
I mean, we can see
Marcos
Erling
Marcos
Haaland. We can see,
Marcos Alonso's father had played for Real Madrid and his son has played for Barcelona, right? So what's the
yeah,
point?
but Marcos Alonso was at a different stage of his career, right? Like, for example, even Erling Haaland, he he did
Hmm.
not eventually sign for Man United. He went to Man City because his father was at Man City. Now, let's say
Yeah.
maybe 10 years down the line, if he would have signed for Man United and maybe he signed for someone else right now, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But at this crucial stage of his, like he hasn't even been exploded onto the scene yet.
Yeah,
And do
but
you
I don't
think
think,
he would
but I
sign
don't
for
think,
Barcelona still?
no, no, but I don't think like Real Madrid will be going for a player like Redondo. You know why? Because they already have like a very stacked midfield. If you ask me, they already have the likes of Nico. I don't know what's his name, Nico Pads. So he's supposed to
Hmm.
be like Tony Cruz had mentioned. Like he should be training with the first team. So you understand like how much of like value that player has. So I don't know like where Federico Redondo is going to turn up, but if you ask me, like I would like if you give me the money right now, I'll possibly just purchase him. He's a very good player.
I understand. Okay, yeah, you can. I mean, yeah, in terms of if like if you had a wish list, I can understand, but I don't think it would be an easy signing. That's my point. What do you
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
Divya?
About the Redondo one, I
Yeah,
think
Federico Redondo
it's yeah. I
to
am
Barcelona.
I have not heard much about this. So
there's no rumors
you
apparently,
know,
but this is what my take is. That's what I'm saying.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
there are no rumors apparently.
okay. I mean, any particular reason for this take? I mean, have you heard that in an interview that
Well,
he
I
wants to?
read like there was one report about Federico Redondo. Like someone stated like like he is that typical Barcelona player that Xavi could actually focus on. Getting him
Mm-hmm.
because he's a very tall sort of midfielder. That same lean body that Busquets had when he was in his early 20s.
Mm-hmm. By
And
the
he's
way,
got that
mhm,
similar passing style.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've what I read from about Federico Redondo is very tall. He's very similar to what Busquets is, but
Exactly.
he's not linked to Barcelona. He's linked to Newcastle United.
Yeah, yeah,
Newcastle are very strongly linked to him. Plays for
yeah,
Argentinos Junior and
yeah,
possible in the list of Argentine targets. So yeah, I mean, he will be out of contract in December 2024. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, not sure whether he'll go to Barcelona or not. We'll have to wait and watch. If it's a cheap signing, then of course
yeah,
Barca should go for him. But again,
yeah.
like
Because
Prashant
his like
rightly said,
release clause is like very less apparently. Yeah, as I said, 3 or 4 million.
hmm,
That's it.
like Prashant rightly said that it's going to be if he has a father has a history with Madrid, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah,
And MSH says Greenwood in without consent. Haaland choose City or United because he had some standards to maintain.
no,
Oh, is
because
it?
City had a
Yeah.
project. No, I disagree with his
Oh,
opinion because City had a project.
I,
No, no. City were ready to pay that money. Project to
no,
Bayern
no.
का भी था, project to Real का भी था.
That I
Absolutely.
understand. But
Yeah.
the thing was like
He
they
just
already
went
had
there.
an established team,
He
right?
just went there.
So you
No,
talk
he went
about
to City because firstly his father played
But,
there,
yeah,
and
his father
secondly
played for
he
City
he
also,
knew
but
कि
they already had a
सिटी में
project,
एक दो
right?
साल
That's it.
खेलने के बाद या बट या
no,
बट
no.
he knew that सिटी में एक दो साल खेलने के बाद he could go anywhere. अभी देख सिटी में
Absolutely.
within
This was
one
about
season he has won
money.
everything.
So
Yeah,
you can talk
exactly.
about projects. I'll agree to every other player. But if you talk about Mino Rayola's client, late Mino Rayola's clients, then I will say it's not a project. It's about money. It's more about money. I mean,
Hmm.
of course, his father rightly said he wants to play in every other league. So 2 or 3 years in Premier League, then go to La Liga,
Yeah,
then Bundesliga, then Serie A, then French League at the end of the year. It'll be
yeah,
more like a Zlatan Ibrahimovic career, where
yeah,
he ended up playing almost in every other league. The only difference will
Yeah,
be he'll score a lot more than goals than Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's a
Zlatan
top
Ibrahimovic.
striker, and what I like about him,
Yeah,
though maybe he must have gone there for money. He what the best part about Erling Haaland is he lets his game do the talking. He doesn't open his
yeah,
mouth in public. He doesn't do any bad gestures. He's all about
hmm.
playing. He's all about scoring goals, and that's what the best part about is the best part about Erling Haaland, and that's what I like about him.
Yeah, but
City paid
everything he does is
50
is
million.
on the like field, na. Like even if he wants to show his frustration, he shows it on the field. That's the best thing.
सिटी पेड 50 मिलियन बोनस हाँ भाई बहुत वो रिलीज क्लॉज के बाद अलग अलग जो आई थिंक रियोला का एजेंसी हैड 40 million agent fees. So it looked like 63 million, but it was a lot more than that. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want a player of that caliber, you have to pay, And we all saw what he's proved that in his first year as well. Scoring that amount of goals is not easy. You know, we
Yeah,
don't see a striker in Premier League scoring that number of goals. Every
Yeah, in his
once,
first
maybe
season.
in once in 20 years. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, so doing that as a debutant is quite a big deal. And
yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
one may argue that okay, he had Pep and this and that, but he deserves the credit for what he has done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And imagine like this is actually like the first time in a long time that like till last year, see, everyone was telling that City are missing a striker, and they miss, and Erling Haaland would be the striker they should sign. And it's like in the past, whenever something like this has happened, that they have made this signing and it has worked. Like what I can connect here is, long ago when Chelsea were, they were newly taken over by Abramovich, they were also making signings left, right, and center. Jose Mourinho was doing everything, and
hmm,
you will understand once I finish what I'm trying to say here. So they signed a lot of players, and you know, reporters used to jokingly say that okay, now all they need is Andrei Shevchenko up front. All they need is Shevchenko up front. They actually got Shevchenko, and that didn't work.
hmm,
Shevchenko bombed like anything. So you know, these signings, as good as they may seem on paper, they don't always work. But Haaland made it work. Pep made it work. That entire squad, they made it work and they
yeah,
won everything. So
yeah.
credit where it's due.
That's true.
Hmm.
800K per week. Yeah, that's what is rumored. Frankie de Jong to Man United. Here we go. This is exactly what I was going to talk about because it is now on the news. Just
Hmm.
10 minutes back, this has just come out that Barcelona
Oh,
may need to offload a lot of players for them to, going. And we have again been linked to Frankie de Jong, which I don't think is the right thing to do. It's again going to be a saga. At the end of the day, comes down to Frankie de Jong. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona.
Yep.
So I don't think we should be wasting our time on this and moving on to our next target. I think the focus should be on signing Mason Mount, Caicedo, whatever the midfielder that you're looking at, and yeah, get it over the line. And then see, to be honest, we can sign midfielders, we can sign defenders. It's all good. But if United don't end up signing a striker and a goalkeeper, we are
Yeah.
in a hell lot of trouble. It's going to be
Hmm.
a lot of trouble for next season. Striker is a priority. We don't have a single striker. You can talk about Martial being a striker. I don't agree to it. Maybe Wout Weghorst was there last season,
yeah.
but again, he's gone back. We don't even have another name straight striker. So our number nine is essential. We had planned to sign two strikers this season, a top forward number nine, and then a young striker who will develop in the upcoming years and take the current striker's place. But we've not even signed one striker, and we don't even look, in a strong position to sign Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen, a striker of that quality. The only striker that we are strongly linked to is Rasmus Højlund, and Rasmus Højlund was not a regular starter for Atlanta. He was a backup striker. He was a young striker who was coming up the ranks, and he just signed for Atlanta last season, and he hasn't played, more than 20, 22 games. So again, he can't be though a very good prospect, and maybe in the next 2, 3 years he'll become a top center forward. But if you want to go in next season pushing Arsenal and Man City, you cannot go in with Rasmus Højlund. You have to buy in a Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen or Dusan Vlahovic or Gonzalo Ramos. A striker of that caliber has to be signed. If that's not signed, I don't see United even qualifying for the top four. Same is with
Hmm.
goalkeeper. David should be allowed to go. Shouldn't be given a new
Yeah.
contract. He's already on too much wages and doesn't make sense. He's not got a future in United. It's time to accept the situation. and it's time to be very bold. And you got to take that step. There's a word you use, ruthless. Yeah, you got to be ruthless, and you got to sign a new goalkeeper. We've been linked to Andre Onana. Not sure how is that going to work out. We have that kind of budget to sign Mason Mount, Andre Onana, and then a top number nine for 70, 80 million? Looks very difficult for me. So yeah, I'll wait and watch and see what happens in the upcoming days. But Prashant, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So it is again. Yeah, firstly, the thing about David, yeah, I agree there. He does not have a future at United anymore. We have had him for long enough, and we have a very good reason to just let him go this season, right? Because you know we kept him for so long. He still, fumbled in the biggest match of the season, right? The FA Cup final.
Correct, correct.
So we can, that itself is reason enough. And it's not like the first time he has fumbled. He has fumbled a lot in the past, in the recent years, but that was maybe in smaller matches. But this itself is a good enough reason. And despite all of that, he is still asking us to give him a higher wage. That's not really reasonable for a player of his, player like him. Although, yeah, he has been performing for United, he has been the player of the season, but still, not really something which we need right now. Uh, we need a goalkeeper, as you mentioned, someone like Andre Onana, who is like who will suit Ten Hag's system. That's basically what we're looking for. So we need a player
Yes.
like that. Uh, so that will obviously enable Ten Hag to implement his style more and more. So that would be needed. In terms of strikers, I, I don't know how it's gonna go with uh, Mason Greenwood. I'm gonna, all the jokes apart, but if he's a good striker, I don't know what's gonna happen with him. Like, is he gonna be taken in? I don't know. That's completely up to United to decide that. That's something we can't really comment much about. But even then, there aren't, as you correctly mentioned, we aren't even being linked with players we used to be linked during the season, like Harry Kane. Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, we aren't even being linked with them. So where are the strikers going to come from? Where are the goals going to come from? It, it seems like, the way the Glazers have functioned, right? Like if they fill one spot, they'll just let the other spot remain. It's
Yeah.
almost like that. So I don't know where United's window will head, but I can only hope that something good comes up. And finally, Frankie De Jong. I was literally just telling you a while ago, right? Like before Agreement joined, I was just literally telling Divya that maybe Mason Mount is going to be the Frankie De Jong of the season. Who knows? Because Chelsea haven't accepted our initial offers. But now here we have Frankie De Jong turning up again. So let's see. Very interesting things happening.
भाई मैं तो मस्ती में बोल रहा था, but भाई सच में it's just linked. It's just been linked to
Uh,
him. It just come out
yeah.
in past 10 minutes. Top four City, Liverpool, Arsenal hand. Liverpool. I am not sure about Liverpool. They've
Not
got a
sure.
wonderful attacking lineup. They don't
Mhm.
have a midfielder. Yes, they stand McAllister, but they need a couple of more. And the defense also looks shaky. Virgin van Dijk is not the defender that he used to be 2 years ago. And the others are also not up to the mark. So not sure whether Liverpool will get. But again, you know, Klopp's genius can come into play, and maybe they'll get in top four. Maybe Newcastle United, maybe Manchester United. And guys, watch out for Aston Villa next season. Aston Villa have a fantastic manager. They've got a fantastic
Yeah.
project. The owners are backing them up with money, and they are going to challenge for the top four. I'm definitely sure. I don't expect Tottenham. I'm not sure how good the Tottenham manager is, and I'm not. I don't know. What they will do in upcoming season, upcoming transfer window. Maybe Chelsea with Pochettino will get into top four. So again, it's going to be a very interesting season. It's not going to be easy for Manchester United. So if they don't sign top players, they don't sign the player that are required in the position, it's going to be very, very difficult. Forget about
Yeah.
challenging Arsenal and City. They won't even qualify for top four. If they have to, if they are serious, they've got to, focus on getting the targets done. And, I know the ownership situation has completely disrupted the transfer window. But you've got to the management has got to make sure that Ten Hag is back properly. Otherwise, it's game over. We're not going to make it to top four. Bring Weghorst back. नहीं भाई Weghorst नहीं चाहिए.
नहीं भाई.
Weghorst definitely चाहिए. Yeah, but
और
Prashant,
आपको हम्म,
a club like, don't you think a club like Manchester United should be challenging Manchester City and Arsenal for a player of Declan Rice caliber? Declan Rice is one of the best defensive midfielder I've seen. He's not just a number six; he can play as a number eight. He's a very good ball progressor and exactly the player that United will need. And yeah, although it's 90 million pounds or euros, whatever is the price, it's he's actually worth that money. He's going to give you a lot of years. He's very intelligent. He reads the game really well, and he's the right heir to Casemiro. Casemiro will fade away in next 2 3 years. But if you get Declan Rice and play him along with Casemiro, it's going to be a brilliant midfield. And a club like United should be going in for a player of Declan Rice. Manchester City have Rodri and Calvin Phillips. Yet they are going for Declan Rice. Arsenal
yes,
have Partey, yet they're going for Declan Rice. So you look at these squads, they're upgrading them. They're upgrading their squads because they want to challenge for title next season. Both Arteta
right,
and Pep Guardiola. If United have to do it, they've got to sign players. I like Mason Mount. He's really good. He's a very good number eight. Less of a number eight, more of a number 10. But I don't think that's the profile we need. And people are telling me, I where I read it's like Mason Mount is the top target for it, and I feel he's the second most important target. His target would have been Declan Rice, where I've read in the newspaper everywhere that Declan Rice is the target, but maybe due to 90 million pounds, the money that has been the price tag that is West Ham has kept on him, United directly backed off because they can't spend that amount of money. Even if we end up selling players, we won't be able to spend that money on Declan Rice because we need a striker, and yet we have not yet figured out who is going to be a top number nine next season. So it is not looking good for United. And from where I see, we may sign Mount. We'll sign up Adrian Rabiot, who's strongly linked to us. I'm not sure about the goalkeeper situation, whether we will sign a goalkeeper. Striker, I don't know, whether we'll sign a top number nine or we will do some kind of a deal like Edinson Cavani one, which we did a panic buy towards the end of the window.
yeah,
So again, I'm really scary transfer window for United fans. But yeah, it is what it is. And I don't want to spend much
this
time
is
on
what
this. We've already spoken a lot. Yeah. Moving on, अग्रिम भाई, क्या लगता है आपको? आर्सेनल का ट्रांसफर विंडो कैसा चल रहा है? You look at them, they're signing Howards, they're linked to Declan Rice, they are
Hmm.
strongly linked. I think it should be done in a couple of days. Julian Timber to Arsenal.
Julian.
He was
Julian.
Eric Ten Hag's top target last season. So, do you think Arteta and Arsenal are progressing in the right direction?
Well,
Before
yes,
you
like,
answer,
yeah.
ड्रीम ट्रायो वेगोस्ट इगालो कवानी भाई नहीं भाई नहीं भाई ड्रीम है ट्रायो है मैं बोलता हूँ ड्रीम टाइम वो ल्यूक डियोंग मार्टिन ब्राइथवेट है और वो क्या नाम है उसका और एक था स्ट्राइकर तुम्हारा वो ड्रीम ट्रायो यस अग्रिम भाई टेल मी
Um, like, like, I don't know, like, is like Manchester City is still after like Declan Rice? क्योंकि मैं बीच में reports तो पढ़े थे Declan Rice के पीछे पड़ा है Man City, because I
yes
don't
yes
know,
both
like, if
it's a bidding
both
war
Arsenal
it's
are chasing.
both are in yes but the
hmm,
thing is Arsenal have the edge because
they
Arteta
have the
has
edge.
spoken to Declan Rice and Arteta he's very convinced by the Arteta's plan. So
Hmm.
currently Arteta have the edge and Arsenal has already put in a bid which was rejected. Man City have not yet put a bid. They've just inquired. They just spoken to the player, but nothing's concrete yet. So currently Arsenal have the upper hand, but we saw in the last transfer window they're about to sign Mikhailo Mudrik, and in 24 hours everything changed. So again,
Yeah,
anything can happen,
मेरे
but
को वही
right
लग रहा
now
है ना,
Arsenal have the edge.
क्योंकि मेरे को पता है क्या लग रहा है, like, like City has the only edge because they have won the treble, and they will say we can make you win another treble, because Arsenal has not won a like major trophy since like 2020, right? Because the last time they won the FA Cup in 2020. So I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
like even after like having the likes of what do you call Arteta giving like these sort of promises to Declan Rice, like they will be able to finish top four next season. Who knows? Football is a very funny game at times.
Yeah.
Because if you just finish like second, you don't know like how you're gonna finish the next season. So I
But I
doubt
think,
that I
mhm.
doubt like Declan Rice has to take that sort of like that risk that like playing for Arsenal at this stage where he's not being guaranteed any title, so it doesn't make sense to me. If Arteta could like convince him for like title, but at City or maybe even at United it can make sense, but I don't think at Arsenal makes sense. I think.
I think, believe the exact opposite. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
What you said is right. Makes sense. Man City. But if he goes to Man City, he's behind Rodri. You know,
Yeah.
if he gets some game time, Rodri gets some game time, and if he doesn't start well at Man City, then we never know when he gets his chance.
No, but
So
he
the
will be
amount
a
of
direct
game,
replacement for Gundogan also, no? Gundogan was there
no,
like
no, 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 a completely different profile, bro. Completely different
yeah,
profile,
yeah, but they can
and
play as
they've
a
already signed. They've already signed
two
replacement for
totally.
Gundogan. They've already signed
That
replacement for Gundogan. Mateo Kovacic.
yeah,
Kovacic is
yeah.
Gundogan replacement.
Kovacic can play for like cup games and everything, no? Because like if you want
No,
like
no, no.
fresh legs in your like in your
Different
first
again.
game.
Different, profile. It may happen, like you're saying, it may happen, but I think with
Hmm.
Arsenal, the kind of football they played last season, it was not just about they coming second. They almost challenged City and
Yeah,
they were destroying teams left, right, and center until the March and April, where
yeah.
they, slipped.
Yeah,
And that was due to squad depth. They didn't have
yeah,
the squad depth, which I was
yeah,
speaking since the beginning of last season, that they don't have squad depth. They are a very, very good team, very
yeah,
drilled team. Arteta has been there for a long time. He knows what he's doing. Then they
yeah,
signed Havertz, they signed Timber. It's a very good progress. And if someone like Arteta is planning something and the way his project is present to Declan Rice, you know, Declan Rice might sign for Arsenal, and again, there are some players who still believe in signing for clubs, who have some history, who have some footballing
hmm,
essence about them. Man
hmm,
City still a little behind in that terms. Maybe after another 5-10 years, they might be or they might not be. But
yeah,
currently, if the project that Arteta is, showing to our Declan Rice and other players, it's very
yeah,
convincing, it's very promising. And from what they did last season, if they continue doing that, I think they're definitely going to challenge Man City. And, you know, as the report rightly said, Declan Rice is very convinced with Mikel Arteta's project. And
hmm.
if the right bid is made for West Ham, he will end up signing for
Arsenal.
Arsenal. So again,
Was he an
your
Arsenal
points are
product by the
good.
way? Wa-
Sorry,
Was he an Arsenal product? Arsenal Academy से है क्या वो?
नहीं नहीं
Con.
Chelsea Academy.
Chelsea
Declan
Academy.
Rice Chelsea. हाँ,
Declan Rice is Chelsea Academy. Yep.
That will
He's
be a
a
yeah,
Chelsea
very
fan
Chelsea
as well,
Academy.
but
that
he's going to Arsenal.
that will
So
be a
if
very tricky
so
move.
if Thomas Tuchel, what would have been if Thomas Tuchel would have been the manager of Chelsea right now, Declan Rice would be linked to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, true. But ever
So
since
yeah,
Thomas
They already
Tuchel left,
signed Kai
Chelsea
Havertz,
has
na?
become a joke.
Kai Havertz
yeah, about to
actually
sign
signed for
Kai
Arsenal, right?
Havertz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are
it will
about
be,
to
it will
sign him
be,
as
it
well.
will be
Yeah.
official any point, any moment. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
look
that's
at
a good
the
move.
amount of players they are signing. This is brilliant. This is it's amazing, and I think Arsenal are going to have a very good season next year,
Let's
unless
hope so.
something really goes wrong. Again, see, I just now read a tweet. Arsenal remain confident and optimistic on Julian Timber deal. Either player only wants Arsenal FC. Second
Hmm.
bid submitted this morning, around
Nice.
45 million pounds. So Julian Timber is going to be signed for Arsenal very close. And the best part about what Arsenal is doing is they're getting in these players for Arteta before the preseason, so they
Yeah.
can gel with the other players. They can
Yeah.
have that kind of understanding, and before the Premier League kicks off, they're all ready to play for Arteta.
That.
So
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
good job by
That's,
Edu and the Arsenal recruitment team. So again,
yeah.
very good summer ahead of them, very good season ahead of them, and I think they're going to do play a lot better than last season. They were very good last season, but they're going to be better this season. So yeah, let's see what happens to Arsenal in the coming days. Now
Yeah.
moving on, to my favorite, you know, transfer uh, club. I won't say my favorite club, but my favorite transfer gossip club. A club that sometimes I troll a lot, a club that sometimes I feel bad about, and that is our Chelsea. They've been linked to certain players. Again, they are selling players to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what's going on. I'm sure Prashant, you might have heard about a lot of people saying that Saudi Arabian owners are Saudi Arabian sheikhs
PIF.
have some influence. Yeah, have some influence on
Yeah.
Chelsea ownership, and there is a lot of controversies going on. So they've
Yeah.
already
Mm.
sold few players to Saudi Arabia. Hakim Ziyech is the latest one to go, and Kalidou Koulibaly was another one. So many players going from Chelsea to um, you know
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia
Kalido,
and Al
Kalido
क्या बोल रहे भाई
Koulibaly का मतलब यार it's so funny. Last season he just signed for Chelsea, and next season he's offloaded to Al Hilal. Man,
देखो
this
तो
is
हाँ.
मतलब ये क्या nonsense है
this
यार. चलो I
yeah
understand like,
absolutely
he has to earn money and everything, but यार ये क्या मजाक है यार.
Yeah, and
rubbish absolutely
Koulibaly
rubbish
came in with a massive reputation, right? But Koulibaly, the thing is that there was a time he was linked so regularly with everyone: Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, even, right? Because when he was supposed to be like one of the best defenders in the world, but
Yeah.
at that point, no one signed him. Napoli didn't let him go, and now, like after he has crossed his 30s, they
yeah
finally let him
he's
go.
no more on
He
his
signed
peak.
him, and yeah,
Hmm.
he's no longer at his peak. So he hasn't worked in the Premier League. So that's why I think it makes sense for Chelsea to let him go, because if he goes to Saudi, at least to some extent he will still be effective. He won't be very effective, but he would be effective to some extent over
How
there,
much
because
he was
obviously
sold
the
for?
level will not be the same. I
How
don't
much
know,
was he
maybe
sold
20,
for?
30 million something.
20 million, around 20 million.
How much he
Yeah,
was bought for by Chelsea?
40.
हाँ पर
40.
ठीक है. Because 2 3
Uh,
seasons ago he was somewhere around like 80 or 90 million, if I'm not
80
wrong.
million, yeah.
United
Yeah,
United were very close to signing him the season when we signed
Glad,
Harry Maguire.
yeah, glad you
yeah.
saved your money on that.
No,
क्या
at that
क्या
point he
glad
may have been.
we signed Harry Maguire.
ठीक है ना, बट उसका रीसेल वैल्यू तो कुछ ना कुछ तो मिलेगा, 40 50 मिलियन तो मिलेगा.
But
50 मिलियन
I
खरीद
don't
that
know.
नहीं
time
सकते ना.
Back
No,
then,
but that time Koulibaly
तभी
was really
Koulibaly
good.
was at his peak.
Koulibaly was
Yeah,
fantastic, brilliant, brilliant.
हाँ.
यार वो एक सीजन में
At
पता
that
चल
point he
गया
was
यार
actually
प्रीमियर
at
लीग
his
में.
peak. नहीं,
अबे भाई
तभी वो पीक
31 का
पे था
नहीं
अभी.
अभी पीक
हाँ,
पे नहीं है 31 ईयर्स का है वो जब आया चेल्सी में. नाउ इज 32. मतलब नहीं है इतना ब्लेड.
exactly.
डी लॉरेंटेस इज वेरी वो क्या बोलता है उसको इटालियन वर्जन ऑफ डैनियल लीवा है. You see
हाँ,
how he drags out this Victor Osimhen this thing. He will extract the maximum amount of money from Victor Osimhen and उसका लग इतना अच्छा है ना. Victor Osimhen गोल पे गोल मार रहा है and the kind of goal he's scoring is just brilliant.
Yeah,
Fantastic goal he's scoring. A
yeah,
dream number 9 for any team. Victor Osimhen.
yeah,
that's true.
Yes,
agreed.
Prashant. So I want you to we got caught up on this Koulibaly thing. Yeah. So for Chelsea, signing players, letting players go. So, can you put some light on this, Saudi controversy that Chelsea is caught into? Do you have any idea about it? I think you are the one with most information
Yeah,
on this.
yeah. So, well, see, there is. So the reason this is the controversy here is basically that Saudi is helping Chelsea cheat. That's the way people are putting it, right? So that Chelsea can buy any player. Like earlier, Todd Bowley bought whatever player he wanted for whatever the amount he wished. And now because Saudis can also afford whatever fee. is quoted to them. Chelsea quote them anything that is reasonable for them.
Hmm.
They sell him off. And the reason this is being said is because there are links between Todd Gurley and the Saudi CIF, which also owns Newcastle. So that is the entire controversy. However, uh, again, this is something which is more on paper and less. Not something which we can say for sure, but at least on paper, the ownership, which there is some other entity where the Saudi PIF and Todd Gurley have stakes together, and their
Hmm.
Saudis have invested in Todd Gurley's company, uh, wherein they have like 4 or 5% stake or something like that. So it's a very minimal stake. That is what is being that is the rebuttal which is being thrown out. That it is a very small stake that they own, even if they do own, and eventually in the grand scheme of things, it's not really effective. So looking at sorry, it's not even 5%. I'm not able to recollect properly, but it's either 5% or it's something like 0.5% or something. So it's very very
Okay.
small. So yeah, that's why the rebuttal now is that it is there. There is a connection, but it's very small. And businesses have these kind of connections. That is what is being thrown out. So we don't know.
Hmm.
The way Saudis work, it's always shady, right? But yeah, but again, it's not something which we can say for sure, 100%. But yeah, on paper at least, it's not something which we can uh, point out that okay, yeah, this is the case. Yeah, Divya.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. And you know, a lot of shady things, but I'm not sure whether, again, it's those are allegations, may or may not be true. So let's see what happens. But yeah, Chelsea are still going to buy players. They've got Jackson, a new young player, and they've already signed Nkunku. We all knew that deal was closed
Yeah,
in
Christopher.
January itself. So yeah, Christopher Nkunku, fantastic player. And I think they will also try another number nine. They don't have a number nine with them. Of course, they do have Lukaku, but then Lukaku wants to go back to Inter Milan. So again, let's wait and watch what Chelsea does in the upcoming window. It's just the end of June. We've got July, we've got August, and I'm sure our striker will be linked to them. Coming back to other Premier League clubs, this one really excites me. This new signing which Newcastle have made. Sandro Tonali, brilliant midfielder, Italian young player. I never thought, he will end up leaving AC Milan. I thought he's more of a, the pro-Italian player who will play for an Italian team.
Yeah.
But it seems AC Milan wanted money and Newcastle were the only one ready to play. Tonali didn't want to leave, but there was no other option, and he's now at Newcastle. Newcastle are also
Yeah,
linked to the Southampton right back Tino Livramento, which is who is a very young and agile right back who has a very good, who's considered a very good prospect in English football. But yes, we can talk about Livramento later. But yeah, you both of your views on the Sandro Tonali signing. I feel it's a fantastic one. Your views, Prashant and Agreem.
okay. So the one of the first things which I heard with regards to Sandro Tonali is that, and even when his signing was confirmed, when his transfer to Newcastle was confirmed, uh, they were all like, he was in tears. That is how badly he wanted to remain at Milan. It was like one of those uh, departures, very emotional departures. So he was connected to the club to that extent. And again, him being Italian, as in obviously the newer generation is not exactly as homely as the previous ones were. Like now they are more open to moving abroad, some of them, but still he was Italian, right? So he also was. He seems to be someone who was still more of a. He had more of a mindset to remain in Italy and maybe just remain with Milan. But of course, Milan need money, and yeah, that's why they ended up selling him to Newcastle. But he is very underrated in terms of the coverage because of the lack of coverage that Serie A gets. But he is a huge prospect. He is, and I mean Newcastle may have just digged up. They may have just struck gold with a player like him. Let's see how he does in the Premier League. But he is someone who can be a boom kind of a player. Someone who can actually
Yes.
change the way the team plays. He's that good.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. Brilliant signing. Your thoughts, agreeing by on this Central Tonali deal?
Like I'm just like looking at his like stats for the last season. Like he's got an like expected goals of like around like 2.39. It's played over like 200 700 minutes, and moreover like he's got a good passing range of 81%. I think it's a very good signing for like a club like Newcastle to just have like a strong hold ups with Bruno Guimaraes, and like who's that other midfielder they have? I don't remember with Bruno.
They have that. Yeah. I forgot his name.
Van Maxima?
No,
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 San
this one is
Maximo is a
a
winger. There's
forward.
another one.
Forward.
Yeah.
There's another one.
So that's a very
He's actually really good.
good. Yeah, yeah. So
He was an
like
attack-minded
Long
player, but he's actually
yeah,
become a more of a central midfielder now.
yeah. So like he's more of like a what do you call a central pivot, no? Defensive midfielder.
There's one is
Uh,
Miguel Almiron. So that's not
yeah.
Miguel Almiron, but yeah. What I think you're talking about. Hold on. There is this player. I forgot his name. Yes, yes, Prashant. Yeah. Sorry, agree by go on. I'll in the meanwhile I'll search that midfielder. You can go
I
on.
think it was Joe Linton. Joe Linton.
Yes,
Joe
Joe
Linton.
Linton.
Joe Linton. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Fantastic player.
So Joe Linton, this
Mm,
guy,
very underrated.
Bruno, yeah, Bruno Guimaraes, and
Guimaraes
this guy,
and the
um,
Almiron guy. Yeah.
Almiron. And with that, you have like the guy like Sandro Tonali, who will play as like a defensive midfielder for them. So it's a very
Yes.
good thing for them. So
What will happen
brilliant
is
signing.
this will, yeah, if Sandro Tonali plays a defensive midfielder,
Yeah,
Guy
yeah,
Maras will get a lot of
yeah,
freedom to express himself.
yeah,
You know, so and Guy Maras is really good as a six and eight. He can
yeah, six and
play
eight.
as a
Yeah,
six, he can play as a eight, and he
yeah,
can be equally effective. So
yeah,
the signing will actually give Bruno Guimaraes the room to express himself, and we may see a
yeah,
better Newcastle midfield.
yeah. So how much
So
they
yeah,
paid?
I mean
70 million, right? 70 million for
70
him.
million, correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
70
yeah.
70
million.
million.
Nice.
So, see, the thing is that, I mean, Newcastle are not exactly following the Man City pattern. Remember that this is now another Gulf state backside, right? But the they are still actually signing very. They are still making very smart signings. They are not making over the top signings as such. They are not making.
Correct.
They are making sensible signings and they are slowly building themselves up. So that's good.
Mm.
And the fact that Newcastle are going to be in the Champions League make them an attractive prospect for any player anyway.
Yeah. They just need to start
Yeah.
winning trophies. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. So they will
Mm.
eventually win a trophy with the kind of backing and planning they have now. Because it seems that Newcastle as a club, with in terms of scouting and everything is set up. Their scouting
Yeah.
and everything is pretty good.
Yeah.
They just needed the money. That was the only thing
Yeah.
that was missing. Now they have that.
Yeah.
And in Eddie Howe they have an amazing.
I just read somewhere,
Yes, he's a brilliant manager.
like this was on Twitter feed, like they were just comparing like this one transfer, 2021, August or like July, they were they were struggling to pay 1 million for this guy Hamza Chaudhry from Leicester.
Oh, okay.
What
And why?
Newcastle
Yeah.
was, yeah, because Newcastle were like under that takeover bid, right, back then,
Uh,
and
yeah,
they were
Yeah.
yeah.
struggling. Yeah, they were struggling to pay
Mike
1 million
Ashley.
for not Mike Ashley, Hamza
Mm,
Chaudhry. Hamza Chaudhary.
No, Mike Ashley was the owner. Mike
Okay,
Ashley
Mike
was the
Oh,
Ashley
owner of
Mike
owns the
Ashley.
Newcastle.
Yeah,
club.
sorry.
A
Yeah,
very
Mike
controversial guy.
Ashley was.
Yeah.
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 So he
Now
was like
he
ready
was
to
even
pay 1
want
million for that over.
he wanted to buy Everton, after he sold
Yeah,
Newcastle. Luckily
yeah,
I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, they ended up getting the other Farhad Mushiri.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
They got a Ferrari instead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before we
But
end the show,
yeah,
I wanted to, coming back to Manchester United, there's something which I saw today in the afternoon. I didn't know how to react, whether to laugh or to cry. It seems United have put players for sale. This from Chris Wheeler DM Daily Mail. Players for sale. Then there are players they're willing to listen to offers. Then there are
yeah,
players who could go at right price. So there are four categories, and there are free agents. So first category for sale, Donny van de Beek, they're expecting 20 million. Fred 20 million. Anthony Elanga 20 million. I don't know who's going to pay that. Hannibal Mejri 13 million. Again, not sure who's going to pay that. Alex Telles 10 million. Eric Bailly 2 million. Brandon Williams 5 million. Okay. Now there is another category. Will listen to offers, and you're going to have a big laugh on this. Will listen to
Sancho.
offers. Harry Maguire 40 million. Scott McTominay 40 million. Dean Henderson 20 million. Okay, this is okay, Dean Henderson, but I'm not sure who's going to pay 40 million for Harry Maguire and 40 million for Scott McTominay. And the
typical. Yeah,
next category is could go at right price. That is Jadon Sancho 45 million. Anthony Marshall, 25 million. And then you have free agents, Phil Jones, Axel Tuanzebe, Ethan Galbraith, Deshaun Bernard, and David Day will be out of contract on June 30th. So, Prashant, your first reaction after listening to this, or maybe even you have looked into this on Twitter. So, your first reaction after
I did
seeing
read
this or
this
listening to this.
article. I did read this article. Like not
Mm.
necessarily this one, but there was, matlab- as in there was another article maybe, but it mentioned exactly the same details that you pointed out right now. So uh, I did go through them. Uh, yeah, and again, my reaction to that is also very, it's very mixed. Like I don't know how to react to it as a United
You know
fan,
what?
whether I
You know
laugh
what?
because let me
Sorry to
finish.
interrupt you.
So
Okay, go on, go on.
having guys
Yeah,
like
go on.
Phil Jones, having guys like Phil Jones and everyone go, I'm not emotional about them. So that is not something that is going to make me cry. It will make me laugh because he has still been at the club. He is still allowed to be at the club, which is, he has basically done nothing and earned so much. He has basically just done exercise and warm up exercise every day, stayed himself, maintaining his fitness, and that is what he's being paid for. That's a great deal for him. But yeah, Eric buy is something I was expecting. Why are they not like just putting Anthony Martial off for sale? He should be sold. But you know, I don't think he should be in that category where
Could go
they
at
are
right
willing
price.
to listen to. Yeah, exactly. Could go at right price. No, he should just be listening to offers. Jadon Sancho, on the other hand, I feel personally that he should be given more time. He was a little better this season compared to the last one, so he will eventually. I feel he will eventually come out. Donny van der Beek, yeah, I feel disappointed for him. It hasn't worked out for him at United whatsoever, and that's just the way life is. Maybe sometimes some things don't work out. So yeah, he hasn't. He should be sold off. So the rest of the players, I'm a little surprised at Brandon Williams because he was said to be a decent talent. So him being let go of is kind of a surprise as well. But the rest of them, I mean, yeah, they are like very meh players anyway. So I don't have, I'm not feeling any emotion for the rest of them.
And if this sales, go through, as what planned, this amount, everyone, including the for sale, will listen to offers, could go at right price. United could generate 260 million euros, which I don't think is going to happen. We might not even generate half of that amount, is what I feel,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah,
yeah,
let's hope for the best and let's see what happens. But yeah, I think Man United need to sell players. The squad has to be. trimmed down. There are a lot of dead woods in there. I can name a lot at my back of my head. I think Anthony Alanga needs to go. Alex Telles needs to go. Eric Bay needs to go. Brandon Williams needs to go. Dean Henderson will go. I would really love Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. If they left the club for another club, because I think they no longer fit in Eric Ten Hag's plans, and I think they're just wasting the salary. Jadon Sancho, I'm a bit skeptical. I think there should be another season for him. Maybe if he doesn't perform well this season, next year he can leave. Anthony Marshall, like you rightly said, it's not up for discussion. He needs to leave. The price is set at 25 million, but even if we get 15, 20 million, we should take it. It's just it's pointless paying him that huge salary which he has. Again, that's going to be a big roadblock if we have to sell him, because I don't think any team will pay that kind of money. The salary he has at United is way too much. It's around 250 grand a week, which I don't think any sensible club would pay for Anthony Martial. So again, a lot of players that need to go, but I don't think Fred and Jadon Sancho should go. Fred can be a makeshift player, a player who can come from the bench and give that kind of energy. So Fred can be kept, but I think the others, including Donny Van de Beek, need to go.
Yeah. Van der Beek is someone I do agree that he needs to go, but the rest of the players, it's just so weird as to, I mean, you can't actually express, you can't say that, oh, I'm so angry that he was there. No, you can't even say that, oh, I'm happy he's going. It's just, they're all like so meh kind of players, right? Like, just that's the
Hmm.
only thing that after like thinking for the entire duration of whatever you were saying, I was just thinking of coming up with an expression, and this is the
Hmm.
only thing that I can come up with. Meh. That's all I feel. That's all I feel about when I listen to this, because I mean how mediocre can it be? Like how mediocre can a squad be? They're literally collected like again, they are not bad players.
He's
I
under
obviously have
mediocre.
nothing personal against them. Yeah, but come on, this is not how a United squad is supposed to be. Gosh, so horrible.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
thinking of closing this with this topic, but yeah, last one before we go. The players who have already moved to Saudi Arabia. The
Hmm.
first was Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, followed by Karim Benzema, N'Golo Kante, Ruben Neves, the most surprising one, and Kalidou
Hmm.
Koulibaly. Players which
You
are
missed one
going
more player.
to.
You missed
No,
one
wait,
more
hold
player
on.
Hakim
now.
Ziyech is not
No, no,
done.
Hakim
no, no,
Ziyech.
wait, hold on, hold on. No, no, hold on, hold on. I'm coming to that. So coming soon, which is not officially done, they are in
No, it's
progress. They are
officially
going to
done.
get
No?
officially done.
Al,
No. Hakim Ziyech, Edouard Mendy, Marcelo Brozovic, Bobby Firmino. So these four players will be in the Saudi Arabia League very soon. Players that are linked and may happen: Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Antoine Griezmann, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Alexis Sanchez, Jordi Alba, Hugo Lloris, Aubameyang, Saul Niguez, Thomas Partey, Alvaro Morata. Look at that amount. These players playing in Saudi Arabia League. I'm going to watch it next season. I'm going to try and watch some games.
तीन टीम में
Definitely.
अल हिलाल अल नसर और कौन सा है वो?
Al Ittihad.
Al Nasser, Al Hilal, Al
इत्तेहाद.
Ittihad, and Al Shabab, the top four clubs
Al
of
Shabab.
Saudi
Yeah, top
Arabia.
four. Yeah.
Yeah. So these top four clubs are basically now owned by CIF. CIF will be personally
Yeah,
backing
yes.
them up, and
Yes.
even the other Saudi clubs will be financed by some one or the other Saudi companies.
Yeah, yes.
So there is a lot of money that's going to come from there. Okay. Before we go, Agreem Divya, and to our audiences, one more question on the same line about Saudi Arabia. Are you aware what has happened in golf? Either of you?
No.
Yeah, yeah, I am aware.
You are aware, Divya? Okay.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you tell Agreem about it? Can you tell Agreem about
Yeah,
it?
enlighten me about the news, please.
yeah. I think Prashant, you should, because I know golf has been taken on Middle East, but I think you have better
Ah,
knowledge on this. So yeah,
okay. So let me just summarize it in
yeah.
a very short way. Uh, what the Saudi initially did, with golf is they did something like the IPL. Like you remember how IPL and ICL had
Yeah,
happened?
yeah,
So
yeah,
IPL
yeah,
Mhm.
came after the ICL happened, right?
yeah.
But that's a different story. So but it was a rebel league. It was considered to be a rebel league. So Saudi started. Uh, Initially, they wanted to buy PGA or something. Didn't work out. They started with something called as Live Golf, which was their own backed golf store.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly, all the major players were switching to Live Golf because of the insane amounts of money being offered. So now, so many players have joined Live Golf that PGA Tour, the official PGA Tour, which is the world organizing body of golf, that is about to merge with Live Golf. So basically, Saudi would have bought golf. They would have bought the sport of golf by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So on the same line, there are some fears. I don't think they are very realistic, but it can still happen that the Saudi league, not even the Premier League now, the Saudi league will end up becoming the Super League.
That's good.
What do you guys have to say to that?
No, it's good. Football is progressing in Asia.
Yeah, it
I'm
should
not a
progress, huh?
hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. When the money is coming from MLS, players going to MLS, I want to cheer for it, but I'm not going to, call it sports washing when it goes to a Middle East country. So that's not completely true. Yes, games like football need a lot of more development in Asia. Uh, I think the AFC Champions League can be, watched by a lot of people if more attractive players are playing in that league in Saudi Arabia. And
Hmm.
if Saudi Arabia starts with this kind of trend, then maybe the neighboring countries like Qatar and UAE can also have some players, who can come from Europe and play there, who can be offered a huge amount of money. The Asian football will get a big boost. You'll have a lot of viewers for Asian AFC Champions League, and it's something that maybe push Asian football up in the ranks, and we will see a lot more competitive football from at least Middle Eastern clubs, if not the Far East and
Yeah.
South Asian club, South Asian teams. So again, we will see a better challenge from Middle Eastern teams like UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. In upcoming days, in upcoming World Cups. Already Japan and Korea are giving other teams run for money. We'll also get more teams from. So, the idea is to make sure that, it's not just Europe and maybe South America. You've got other continents as well. You've seen the emergence of Africa, continent, a lot of teams
Yeah.
going into the knockout stages of the World Cup, playing really well. A lot of good players playing in Europe from African continent. So similarly, Asia has to, come up with such players, teams going into the knockout stages of the World Cup, going all the way into the finals, the semi-finals, the quarterfinals. The maximum point they reach, that has to happen, and I think this is the way it can happen if more top class players play with the Saudi league players, local players. Man, it can up their game. They can be better. They can help them become better, and maybe, like I said, the idea is to have clubs, countries from every continent, progress into the knockout stages and reach, the farthest point where they can reach. Just not just Europe and South America. We want teams from other continents as well to, reach as far as they can in World Cups. And I think this may be a very good opportunity. Again, you
Yeah.
can talk about sports washing and all that, but I feel that's all bullshit. It's if you want to
I mean, corruption
squash.
has always been there in sports behind the scenes
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. If you want to talk about sports washing, talk about the corruption in UEFA. You stop that first, and then we'll discuss
Yeah.
about sports washing. You discuss about corruption that's happening in UEFA for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And a
FIFA
lot
as
of
well.
things have come out as well. We had a UEFA president get fired for it. So again, you talk about sports washing once you've cleared all this corruption in UEFA. This is all rubbish and bullshit when European teams get boost, when European teams are bought by the Middle Eastern country owners, it's all good. But the moment clubs in those countries start progressing, players going there, it's sports washing. This is a level
Yeah.
of hypocrisy we have in Europe, and you know, let's not go over there. We all know how Westerners are, you know, against the countries on this side, growing and developing. For them, it's
Yeah.
all about the West. But I don't want to get into that. But yeah, talking about Saudi Arabia club and speaking about sports washing is hypocrisy.
Okay.
And
Again, your
one
point of
more
view.
thing, my point of view is like very simple. Yeah, like every country should have the chance to like develop their sports. If it is like Saudi Arabia, if it's India, or maybe like if like FIFA wants to progress and develop footballing nations, they should start invest their money in countries like Brazil and Argentina. If you see the way they play and those pathetic conditions, they will understand like how tough that league is to survive on.
Okay. All right. So on the line of the same, on the same line of questions, uh, firstly, let me just also add something that adding to what Divya mentioned and you mentioned that. So what I'm seeing here with the Saudi league is actually not very different to what is happening to Man City or PSG or Newcastle, or even with
Mm-hmm.
what is expected to happen at United. But in a way, when Gulf money came into these clubs, initially people were like they were like sports washing human rights. So in a way, Saudi has just found a hack that they are signing players over directly into their clubs, their own local
Yeah.
clubs. So now there is no worry of sports washing or anything because the club itself is a Saudi club, right?
Yep.
Maybe even UAE will follow, maybe even Qatar clubs will follow. So that is one thing that maybe it's just a hack that they have figured out. That what if they have a problem with us owning those clubs, fine. We will just buy the players. Maybe that's one way of looking at it. Second thing which I really wanted to speak about at length, and I have spoken about it in the past as well, is about Asia, as Divya mentioned, about other clubs now coming up. Let me tell you something, Divya. I have been following the Club World Cup since 2009, 2010, ever since, when Liverpool lost to, I believe it was Corinthians in the Club
Yeah.
World Cup. Okay, that was in 2006 or 7 or something. So I have been following that tournament, and over the time, I have seen that Asian clubs are actually competing, Asian and African clubs. They may not be able to beat European teams yet, but they are actually able to beat South American teams. They are, in some cases, they have absolutely torn them apart.
Mm-hmm.
So so on a global level, that is actually a level playing field. It's just that Europe, because of the facilities and the players and the mix of players they have always been way ahead. But I have always pointed out that the only way ahead for the game, in one way or the other, is to expand beyond Europe. And the two of you all are witness to that, right? That one way or the other, it has to expand beyond Europe. And I'll tell you something. Not many people have said this. No one has written about this, but let me tell you this: the vision behind these the Saudi teams signing up these players is not just limited to getting the eyeballs by signing them. It is not just for them to play in the league. I am sure what they will be planning is that these teams they play among themselves, they get better, they then play in the AFC Champions League. They win the AFC Champions League, and then once they compete in the Club World Cup, they would beat a European team to win the Club World Cup. So that is when Saudi themselves, who have already planned up the expanded version of the Club World Cup. That is how the Club World Cup will become famous, and that is how uh, they will then get more eyeballs for the expanded Club World Cup as well. A very long story, of course, but you can see what I mean right now, right? You can see how
Mm-hmm.
why I'm
Yeah.
saying these things. So I'm sure that is the kind of vision they have. It's not something I'm dreaming up. It is something which I'm saying that they would be envisioning right now
Yeah.
because they would not be visioning. They would not have a short-term vision with this. The vision of again is Saudi 2030. That is the that is a part of which this is. So it is a long term vision. Yes.
Yeah, but the like most, I mean, I understand your point, but the thing is like their more focus is on getting tourism in their country. If you're not if you're not aware about that thing, because they want to get like
Yeah. So
maximum tourists,
hmm.
because they already
So
they have withdrawn their bid from the 2030 World Cup, right?
Yes,
yeah,
they have withdrawn the bid.
yeah, they
All
have
right.
withdrawn the
So,
bid. Yes.
yeah. So I think they are getting these players because they want to, because they already have these sort of like brand images, that brand rights, everything that is like associated with them. So I think that is the way they want to attract what do you call tourists. Like
Okay.
come to our country, visit, and this and that, yada yada yada, and whatever not.
Hmm.
So that is probably one way they have like marketed themselves as the pioneers of this global footballing world.
Sports sports world in general because
Yeah.
okay. Uh, well, I mentioned 2030, right? So 2030 was not with regards to the for FIFA World Cup bid. Okay, that
Hmm.
was a part of it, but they have already withdrawn from it, as you
Hmm.
mentioned. But the Vision 2030 is still in place. Their vision is that by 2030 they are a diversified economy and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, fine. They will get more tourists and everything, but there are two aspects to them investing so hugely into these sports because one is the tourism, as you mentioned, but
Yeah.
the other thing is that even on a social level, they have this thing that you know they want to give out their public whatever they want. Whatever is in demand in that
Yeah.
area in the Gulf, they want to have that. So Saudi has always looked outwards towards Qatar and Dubai. That they are modernizing and everything, but Saudi was merely just depending on some of the very limited resources that they had in terms of
Yeah.
tourism, right?
Yeah. They
Now
they
they
want to
want
make it as good as like the UAE, because
no,
UAE
they
like
want to
within
make
the
themselves
30.
as no, they want to make themselves like a massive hub of sports, like big something more on the lines of what the USA is. So they have the Grand Prix, right? They have the
Yeah. Yeah.
Saudi Grand Prix happening there.
Yeah.
They have some tennis there. They have
Hmm.
obviously now got golf. They will be having sorry, they have the Super Cup finals. The Italian Super Cup final is happening. The Spanish Super Cup
Hmm.
final is happening there. So that's happening
Yeah.
there. The WWE is happening there. So
Yeah.
this is the vision that they have that down the line people will have these things to watch. So in a conservative area like the Gulf where Dubai and Qatar have been stealing the eyeballs, they will now have all of that to themselves. And of course, down the line, if you see about the Club World Cup or all those things succeed, they will obviously become more and more popular. So that gives them more soft power. That is what their plan is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But overall, it's a very good thing for them, like to globalize this way. So it's a very good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah,
One
it
way or
is.
the other, globalization is always good. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's it from me. That is what I wanted to add. Anything further you want to add, Divya?
Nothing, bro. You covered everything. I think
I just wanted to add
that's
one thing.
really in depth. Yes,
Guardiola is
go
like
on, go on.
almost towards City, right? 85 million.
Sorry,
Joseph
what?
100
Guardiola.
million they want.
Yeah, 100 million
It's
almost. Yeah.
not done. It's not yet done. Yeah, it will. I think it will happen, but
Yeah.
the intention of RB Leipzig is to make Josko Guardiola the most expensive centre back in the history of football. So yes,
But that City will
they want
eventually
100
pay. So,
million.
I'm not like
Yeah, they
don't
want
have any
100
problems
million.
with that. I don't have any problems, like City paying that amount of money.
Yeah, correct. That is right. All right, guys. That's it for today. So very nice show.
Yeah,
Spoke a
great.
lot about today's transfer, and we'll be back again next Monday with this show's second episode. And
Yes.
hoping for some positive news. More signings for other clubs. And let's see what happens till next Monday. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Agrim Bhai. Good night to both of
A
you. Good night
pleasure.
to every one of you watching this show. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Smash like on the video. Bye.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.